want to talk about dry toilet. So you have two different types. You have more types, but I want to talk about two different types, which is a dry toilet, which works with air, and a Terra Preta toilet, which works with anaerobic, no air, and fermentation. So I really like to be in different places and just see, how are you doing it here? And later I will ask the guys what kind of problems they have, what's working fine and what's working not so fine. So this is the dry toilet here. And Gary bought a new lid. So they separate here the urine and the poo. So the urine is separated here. We will see later where it's going down. And the poo behind. And they are using toilet paper. Toilet paper is for a dry toilet, no problem. Also for a Terra Preta toilet, no problem. But be aware that the toilet paper is destroying the Amazon forest. So normally I lived many years in Asia. I never used in these years toilet paper. And I was really happy not to use it.
And a cleaner ass.
Yeah, so the Asian people will ask you after a long time they get to know you, they will ask, Ina, how can the Western people think that they are clean if you clean yourself with toilet paper? And then I was like, don't know what to say. So I changed already also using water for cleaning. And here they have, they use, after poo, they use the dry soil. You can use sawdust, you can use each dry material, you can use smashed dry leaves. So here they have the soil from just over there, they have a shovel over there, and they just take the dry soil from here and put into the toilet. So with the dry toilet, just make sure that it's dry. The problems you normally have with the dry toilet is it's too wet. So the important thing is to divide, to separate the urine from the poo. If you separate the urine from the poo, it's the main step. You will not have any problems. So Heiko Piplo, the guru of Terra Preta, he said, hey, Ina, look, it's already separated with the humans. You pee here and you poo there. So it's separated, no? You have to understand. So
and also for the urine that we just saw, you can just have your water bucket or your water bottle next to the toilet.
Yes, I have all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can just collect your urine extra here. In this case, we will later see where the urine is going. And in case you want to install a Terra Preta toilet, it's just that you have a little bit same like this, but you make sure that you can close the toilet like I showed you with the bucket here. So you go for poo and it's in a bucket like this style, and you make sure after each poo you close. Yeah. So if you use if you want to do Terra Preta toilet, you poo, you have not to put the dry soil. You put little bit charcoal if you want. You can put little bit microorganism if you want, like for bokashi. Yeah. The principle is you poo and put little charcoal, maybe little microorganism, but even the microorganism, Heiko Piplo said, in the bucket, the microorganism after some time will stay in the bucket. So don't clean the bucket properly. Yeah. So the microorganism, if you do well, are staying in the bucket. So the smell, use your nose again. The smell should not be super bad. The smell also with a Terra Preta toilet should be a little bit like I spray before, like little bit sour, little bit like kimchi, like sauerkraut, like kombucha. Yeah. So if you with the poo, it's a little bit more difficult, like with the kitchen waste. So you in the beginning you can use really little bit charcoal, and if you want to make super sure, you can after each poo, yeah. So that would be the toilet. You poo, the urine is extra, and after poo you can put some. We do in our community. We have, because we have many children, and sometimes the children forget everything. So you have sometimes to put just some microorganism and then close. Yeah.
So
Easy.
I didn't understand all, but is this like you can have it in each bathroom, a bucket
Yeah.
with like this? And
Yeah. So Heiko Piblo, he said 10 years already, he has just a bucket in his bathroom. And the poo is going directly in the bucket. He's not putting any microorganism, any charcoal, nothing. Because the microorganism already in the bucket. He poo, close, poo, close, poo, close. Then full, wait 6 weeks. And then he's using for his plant. But you have to really mix with soil.
Pero no lo cubre.
Lo cubre? What's this?
There is
Cover.
not cover
see, yes.
after the poo.
Yes,
So
it is.
They cover with soil or not?
So I
Because you say just a little bit of
yeah.
charcoal, and
So,
I don't understand.
Yeah, so the principle is like in bokashi, same, yeah. So the principle is it's possible to collect only the poo and put little bit charcoal or put little bit microorganism.
Without
Nothing
soil.
else.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay.
And then the percentage you mix with soil is also after nose principle.
So I would say the nose is always your guide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Same.
So the nose is always your guide. You have a nose, so please smell, yeah? If the smell is bad, then something went wrong. Maybe too much liquid, maybe somebody has diarrhea. If somebody has diarrhea, you give more charcoal or some dry material which is soaking it. But if you make it too dry, if it's super dry, then the microorganism cannot work.
Yeah,
So
flower.
microorganism needs some moisture to work.
And is there any difference between vegetarian poo and carnivore poo, for example?
Carnivore, what's this?
Carnivore.
Meat eaters, Fleischeaters.
Fleischeaters. Eating meat. So, so in the communities I stay, most of the time the people are vegan. So I just can say, yeah, it's working. And we also had to try sometimes and say, okay, it looks like too wet, and we have to mix a little bit. I think the poo is different from different people. So again, I can just recommend to use the nose and to see whether the fermentation can start or not. So the helpers to make it helping that the fermentation will start and will work properly is the charcoal and effective microorganism.
Okay. Gracias.
Here was plant.
Yeah,
Oh, here, this.
yeah, this little one.
The plant because están por
Okay.
venir. Ya, pero joder, con la costumbre y así.
The toilet from the other end.
Business
So here, the shit is falling down into this bucket. And the urine is going in this hose into the barranco in the nowhere. So the first time Johannes told me, I said, what?
Wasted.
And he said, oh, I feel so bad. I said, this is gold, you just put somewhere. So this is the experience, yeah? If you once experience that this is magic, that you produce the own fertilizer which has everything for the plants, which makes your cucumbers grow like this. And yeah, this is to change the mindset. Super important. So here you can just, this is depends how you want to use. Yeah, you can collect this in a somehow closed bucket. Like this, you have only the hole here and put the hose here and collect. Yeah. Or you put extra something like a bucket or glass and collect inside the toilet. So most of the time they change if it's full here, it's not super full, but they have it here. And he said, yeah, there are flies and it's smelling. So there is too much liquid inside.
Yeah, it was also because it was raining in. There was
Raining,
a stone
yeah.
dropping on the lid, and then the rain
Yes.
came, and
Yeah.
now it's wet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this
So which it smells.
yeah. So there was rain go inside, but maybe there's just some people use it different, and there's too much urine. So in case you have already a problem with the smell, you can pour a lot of dry material. These are pine needles.
But this is actually just shit.
Yeah, mixed with the soil and hierbas also.
There is shit, earth, and
Yeah, dry material.
Yes, and this is like pine needles, like dry leaves, like dry soil. If you want to reduce too wet.
Too wet.
So if you want to reduce the smell, the first I would put is charcoal. Then I would mix the charcoal.
and ashes is there also.
Yeah, a little bit ash. If it's not too much ash, you can put ash. Just do not put only ash and do not put too much ash.
Why? Why is that?
It's just so a charcoal almost you can use a little bit endless, but everything else is just too much if it's just one thing. It's like always the same. Like if you use too much ash, it's just too much. If you use a little bit. So I would mix it if I would have a proper stick. And then if I mix it properly and think, okay, now it's a little bit like not too wet stuff and not extremely dry, just like you're cooking polenta. I'm always, if I do compost, I'm thinking I cook. And then to reduce the flies, many farmers use. So in India, one of my works was to spray the effective microorganism on the cows. We spray directly on the cow, and the cows really enjoy like me. They do like this. And the flies disappear because the flies, they come for the rotting smell. If they smell these fermenting, they disappear, they're not coming. So if I mix, I have something like little bit polenta, I would put the microorganism also in the bucket, on the bucket here, everywhere. And maybe in next day again. Yeah. So you will see after 2-3 days the flies should disappear. It's different to urine. So poo has a lot microorganism. I said 30% are similar, like to the microorganism in the soil. So yeah, if people do not eat really super extremely healthy and do not live super extremely healthy, so you have with the poo, you have really to take attention in using it. So what is safe is, if you keep this, maybe if you want to do like Terra Preta style with the charcoal, you close the lid for 6 weeks. You can put on a normal compost and mix, or you can put directly to trees and mix with soil. Yeah, please don't use it only this directly, just pour to a tree or to a plant. So always with the poo, mix with the soil. This is because the microorganism of the soil can work with the microorganism of the shit together. And this is for Terra Preta toilet and also for the dry toilet, always with the poo. If you put to a compost, you keep the compost for at least 1 year. So many people say maybe here in La Palma or sometimes also in Switzerland, they say, oh, our compost is very fast. So they say after 6 months already, it's really a good compost. So again, use your nose. You can smell the compost, yeah? If the smell is really like, like the fresh earth or really working earth, you can smell, yeah? You can use and mix with soil and use with for trees is always safe. If you want to use for vegetable, it's little advanced level. Please use the poo only if you are sure that it's really good composted after half a year or 1 year and the smell is really super good. And then you can use for vegetables, but mix properly with soil. So for beginners to start, I recommend just start to use it for trees and small bushes.
Okay.
When you mix with the soil, how much?
Yeah, so it's a fertilizer, no? So depend. So if you have plants like corn or like tomato, they need a lot. Yeah. So if I do agriculture in Austria, we plant tomatoes. We take the shit from the cows, we make a hole, take the almost fresh shit from the cows, pour in the hole, then mix half-half. Half of the shit, half of the soil, and put the tomato, and the tomato, happy. So this depends also from the plant, yeah? If the plant needs a lot, you can mix half-half. If the plant is a little more sensitive, I would say like spinach or something like that, you use only a little bit and maybe 10 parts soil and 1 part of the shit.
But always after 6 months.
Sorry?
Always after 6 months.
And yeah, so to make sure to be safe, 1 year. This is what people say. Normally 1 year you keep in the compost.
I don't know if you want to hear my experience.
Yes,
and
of
my
course.
Way of
Yes,
making,
yes.
compost
Yes.
toilet. No, I had a compost toilet in my house. The first one was shooting in buckets with pee and everything, and all, so covering always with earth and everything like this. And I just throw it on the compost and cover it again. And this I did always well covered, that there is no bad smell and no animals coming to this. And then of course we turned the compost several times until it is ready. This was the first compost toilet I had. But then I made a 2-camera system, I don't know, 2-room systems. So we had this like a terrace, like this high, and here was the entering to the toilet, and here was these 2 cameras, rooms, like 1 cubic meter around, no? And we built this like this seat, similar like this seat where you can sit, and we covered always our shit and our urine, because we put all in one, with mostly earth or ashes or coal, sometimes also other things. But it was also, of course, for people, for our guests, you know. And for me it was important not to have flies and not to have bad smell. This was very important, that it functioned really well. If everybody really put some earth or ashes or coal to cover. What doesn't work, and what you see at a lot of time, a lot of places, is this wood.
Sägespäne, sawdust.
Sägespäne.
Sawdust.
El serrín.
Serrín.
Sawdust.
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 Sawdust, or also these little spirals of wood, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also sawdust. I don't know.
Kind of.
Hobelspäne.
And also leaves, and this, if you put it to shredder, it always don't cover really and don't take away the bad smell.
Yeah.
So I always took earth.
Earth.
Yeah. And first this seat was on one kammer, and when the kammer was full, I put the seat on the next kammer. And when this was full, this was ready. But I empty it and I put it again on the compost together with a lot of green stuff from kitchen, from garden, everything. And but also when you take this out after maybe half a year or 1 year until the next box is full, it's already, you don't smell. It's everything earth. All the shit is earth, and also the bottom of this room was earth. I think this is important because then if there is urine, it just goes down and stays, of course, also in the earth for covering. You know. And it was quite practical because beside of these two kammers, I had my compost. So it was like taking out, mixing it with all this shredder stuff and all this kitchen stuff, everything mixed, and also this earth with shit and urine and all this comes into this compost. And this compost is a way with some kind of microorganisms we take from the old compost
Yeah.
to mix also. And then we turn this compost first 2 weeks, like every day or every 2 days, because it needs a lot of air, not anaerobic, it's with oxygen. And it's in 6 weeks, it will be ready, compost. If you change it first every 2 days, then once a week, and in the end, every 2 weeks. And in 6 weeks, this compost is ready with all the shit. And of course, if you have guests, you don't know what they eat. And I don't know about these things like baby pill or antibiotica, you know. People eat a lot of things.
Strange thing.
But
With the compost, it's good.
I think with the compost, and after this whole process,
Transformed.
it's transformed. Yeah. And then it goes into the garden.
We learned very quickly that we had to prevent the chambers from rats because they were building really nests inside.
Yes.
They like it very much.
What was?
Rats.
Ah, yeah.
Ratas.
If it's not well closed,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But they do it in the compost also, where you collect your compost. They always.
Try to get some good stuff.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a topic. So
Yeah.
the rats are a topic if you do the chamber system. So we have also in my community, we have these 2 chamber. It's working very well for them. So you build really the walls out of concrete or stones, and you close really with a metal door to make it really close, yeah. So that the rats are not really. You hope that rats sometimes they jump out of the sky while you do poo or something, I don't know. So make sure if you have some pipes going somewhere, make a metal net that the rats cannot go inside because they love this. And it's working very well. So we also empty after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and it's already earth. So in this, it's kind of a dry toilet style. They put the shit, the soil, and a charcoal. We put regularly charcoal, so the charcoal soak the urine and the smell a little bit. And because of the children, sometimes if there are flies coming, we use the microorganism. And they use after 6 months, it's already really earth. There is no smell.
No.
So we use for the trees. We mix a little bit with the earth of the trees and then we mulch. So always important you put some leaves, some dry material on top. Yeah, so I show you. You somehow maybe have you have a plant in the middle here like this. Yeah, then you have the shit. You maybe. You can, but it's not needed. You can. The plant was there. You can make like this, yeah, if you want, and you put the shit here. Like, let's say this is the shit, and then you mix with the soil, yeah. You mix it up around the plant, and then you mulch, yeah. You take some fresh green or dry and put on top. Why are you doing it? You're doing it because that the microorganism, the shit and the soil have some moisture staying inside, yeah? Then the microorganism can work. And the plant, the roots, the function of the roots is, yeah? If you have, this is the plant and these are the roots. So the roots are the contact to the microorganism. So the microorganism have the contact to the roots, and through this it's going to the plant. Yeah. So it's important to all the time, if you understand about the microorganism inside the soil, moisture and dark. Yeah. If you give the poo and let it be here, or just mix with the soil and let it open, yeah, it cannot work. The light is coming. It will become dry immediately. It's dead. Yes. Like this, they put like this inside the chamber because they wanted to have it easily, just already in a bucket. The bucket had some holes, and in the middle of the bucket, I was like, growing a tree. I was like, okay, what is this? And the woman, she was the owner of the land. She said, did you make a photo? Did you make a photo? I said, no, sorry. But it was really, yeah, if you have experience like this, yeah, you understand. It was in this dark chamber, was in the middle of this bucket growing a tree. Green.
Not white.
No, green.
Because mostly when it's in
Yeah,
it's white,
no,
you know?
no.
Where the chlorophyll come from when there is no
I don't know. It was like that. So I understood. I understood. I did it well because it was not too wet and it was not too dry, and the smell was actually, I could not remember that there was an extremely bad smell. So I was very surprised, and I understood something about the dry toilet, and we used only really super dry soil.
And how?
It's almond tree and not the pine tree, because the man who was working there, I was asking
Yeah.
if I can use it
Yeah.
for the garden, and
Yes.
he is gardener
Yeah.
also, and he said me the pine tree not, the almond tree yes. So now you say me this, and I'm like,
I think both. I think with the pine needles you should treat like the farmers, that you mix with the animals, with the sheep or with the goats. So you have pine needles, goat or sheep shit, and soil, and maybe shredded wood. Yeah. So they mix the pine needles. If you already mix the pine needles with 2-3 different things, it's a totally different topic.
Yeah.
So same with the almond tree wood and leaves. If you mix, this is why I will use what you brought, the almond trees. If you mix in a compost with other stuff like fresh green, like other dry material, the mix will help. It will transform. But if you make one plant and then put only almond leaves, a lot like mulching,
Plant won't grow.
or pine.
maybe
Nope.
it will. With pine, people have good results.
I had very good
Only
results.
pine. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I was already do, and
Yeah.
I am doing a lot of work. So if it's not serving, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So this man was saying to me to mulch the trees
Yes.
with this pine
Needle,
wood,
wood,
little, and you know this.
shredded.
Sí, este no.
Yeah.
So he say me, much you put, then it's fermenting. So don't put just a little bit, put quite a lot. So he say me for the big trees,
Yeah.
no pasa nada. For the little young,
Yeah.
no,
It's a problem for the young.
for the young. But for the big trees,
They
no,
can manage.
they can manage, he say me. But what I was thinking about is, I was wanting also to fertilize with goat shit,
Goat, yeah.
yeah? So then now I'm doing a lot of, to put it there because it's needed to bring it. Yeah, how to say in English? Vale. What I was thinking is I collect this goat shit and I make this water to put the goat shit with water
Yeah.
and make this liquid,
Yeah.
and then I mix this liquid with water
Yes.
and then I water the trees
Yes. Perfect.
of that already have the pine. So that is kind of mixing. Then I don't do it before.